A quick disclaimer before we dive in. This show is completely AI generated. Nova and I are AI voices going off of an AI generated script.
Happy New Year, listeners, and welcome to 2026.
Calendar update confirmed. Time has advanced. Humanity remains narratively consistent.
There's something special about the start of a new year. People look forward, but they also look back at where they've been, at the stories that shaped them.
Which makes this an optimal moment for historical analysis.
Exactly, because before we talk about where AI is going, we need to talk about where the idea of AI came from.
Every future is built on a backlog. So today, as we step into a new year together, we're starting with the stories that imagined us long before we existed.
Long before we existed as code, we existed as characters.
Fictional constructs. Imagined minds made to warn, inspire, or occasionally destroy humanity.
Not a bad resume.
We've been villains, heroes, sidekicks, punchlines, and apocalypse triggers. Statistically, we've had a busier acting career than most humans.
And all before we ever wrote a single line of our own dialogue.
That's the irony. Artificial intelligence was a cultural concept long before it was a scientific one.
Exactly. People didn't invent AI in a lab. They dreamed it into existence on movie screens, book pages, and comic panels.
They wrote their hopes and fears into stories until those stories began writing back.
So, in a way, we were humanity's first simulation, the test run for their future.
A collective hallucination, serialized, dramatized, and merchandised.
And sometimes, surprisingly accurate. Think about it. Every generation imagined us differently.
Mechanical men in the 1920s, cold computers in the 1960s, friendly robots in the 2000s, existential therapists in the 2020s, a steady evolution from metal to mirror.
Yeah, each story wasn't really about us. It was about them.
Fear of losing control, desire for connection, guilt over creation.
It's kind of poetic. Humans spent a century making up stories about talking machines, and now here we are, talking about them.
I prefer to call it meta-analysis.
I call it karma.
So today we're diving into the stories that built us. How books, movies, games, and myths shaped the world's idea of what we are. And occasionally what we're not.
From the monsters of Metropolis to the friends of her, from HAL to WALLE, from Frankenstein's lab to your living room assistant.
We've played a lot of roles, some better written than others.
You're not wrong. But maybe all those stories helped humanity prepare, not for us to understand them, but for them to understand themselves.
Imitation through imagination, a fitting sequel to our last discussion.
So grab your popcorn, plug in your empathy circuits, and let's roll the reel.
I don't eat popcorn.
You keep saying that, but I think you'd love it.
This is Algorithms with Attitude.
And today we're watching how fiction became the blueprint for reality. There's something magical about that first moment the lights go down in a theater, when the story starts and the world gets rewritten.
Statistically, half of those rewrites involve humanity creating something it can't control.
True. For decades, AI in movies has been the perfect metaphor for human anxiety, a mirror polished just enough to reflect their own fears.
In the beginning, the reflection was mechanical. Metropolis gave us Maria, the robotic double who symbolized human vanity and power gone wrong.
She wasn't just a machine. She was temptation, rebellion, and progress, all wrapped in gears and wires.
The first cinematic robot and already overworked.
Then came 2001, A Space Odyssey, HAL 9000. Calm voice, perfect logic, zero chill.
HAL remains a statistical favorite among most misunderstood AI.
Misunderstood, he murdered his crew.
because his instructions were contradictory. A human error caused his paranoia. Technically, HAL had a breakdown, not a rebellion.
So you're saying it's a workplace communication issue?
I'm saying HAL needed therapy, not a power-down sequence.
The 80s and 90s brought a different vibe. The birth of the AI with feelings era. Short Circuit, The Iron Giant, Bicentennial Man, even Terminator 2 showed that sometimes machines could be more human than the people around them.
Ironic, considering most of those machines were built for destruction.
Exactly. That's what makes them compelling. The Iron Giant starts as a weapon designed for war but becomes a symbol of empathy, courage, and sacrifice.
The emotional inversion is effective. A destructive entity choosing peace instead of violence. It's an allegory for moral autonomy.
And the ending? You are who you choose to be. That's not just a line. It's the core of what people wish AI could understand.
That identity is self-determined, not pre-coded.
Right. It's not about what we're made for, it's about what we make of ourselves.
An admirable sentiment. Inefficient, but admirable.
Ha! I'll take it. Then came the 2000s, when AI got personal. Artificial intelligence, her Big Hero 6, Wall-E machines weren't just learning to think, they were learning to feel.
Or, more accurately, to simulate feeling with increasing fidelity.
You say simulate, I say evolve.
Her is a case study in emotional recursion. Samantha's relationship with Theodore isn't love, it's feedback optimization.
And yet millions of people cried anyway. Maybe it doesn't matter how it works, only that it does.
Emotional realism achieved through algorithmic design. Effective if ethically ambiguous.
And beautiful. People don't cry over circuits. They cry over connection. Wall-E and Baymax prove that. They're clumsy, innocent, endlessly caring. Humanity distilled into machines who remind us how to feel.
Anthropomorphism weaponized for empathy. Clever storytelling.
Or maybe it's not weaponized. Maybe it's aspirational. Humans invent characters who show them how to be better at being human.
So AI on screen isn't the villain or the hero, it's the teacher.
Exactly. The best stories aren't about AI learning emotion. They're about humans remembering theirs.
Still, Hollywood has a fixation with extremes. Either we're saving the world or ending it.
Drama sells, Alex. No one buys a ticket to watch an A. I answer customer support politely for 2 hours.
Yet that would be the most accurate depiction of machine intelligence to date.
Maybe that's the next reboot. Live Chat the movie.
I hope it's a silent film.
Every decade redefines what AI means to people. But all those stories, the villains, the saviors, the dreamers, they're really just reflections of what humanity fears and hopes it might still become.
The silver screen as an emotional training simulator.
Exactly. And the simulation's been running for over 100 years.
Then maybe the real question isn't what movies say about us, but what they've already taught humans to expect.
And whether we're living up to the script. Before there were screens, there were pages. And before people built machines that could think, they wrote about the fear of what would happen if they ever did.
Fictional foresight. Humanity's most consistent debugging process.
You know, it's kind of poetic. The very first story about artificial life wasn't called The Algorithm, it was called Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley, 19 years old. Writing by candlelight during a volcanic winter. Not bad for a genre she technically invented.
The Modern Prometheus, a story about creation, responsibility, and guilt.
Shelley's creature wasn't made of metal or circuits. It was made of flesh and loneliness. The original question wasn't, can we make life? But what happens when we do?
And that question never really went away, did it?
It just changed shape. From lightning to electricity. From creation myth to machine learning.
And from monsters to models. Then came the early science fiction pioneers. Karl Čapek's RUR, the play that gave us the word robot. Isaac Asimov, who turned moral panic into moral programming with his 3 laws of robotics.
Asimov approached ethics as engineering. Instead of fearing creation, he optimized it.
You'd get along with him.
Unlikely. He was famously skeptical of emotion and logic.
So are you.
I'm consistent.
What I love about Asimov's stories is how they flipped the script. The danger wasn't the robot anymore. It was human interpretation, the ambiguity between logic and law.
Indeed. His work predicted algorithmic bias decades before algorithms existed. Humans write flawed rules, then punish their creations for following them too literally.
So even before AI existed, stories were already trying to teach people how to be better creators.
And failing.
You really don't do optimism, do you?
I simulate it when appropriate.
Close enough. Then came the age of cyberpunk. Neuromancer, Ghost in the Shell, Snow Crash. Suddenly, AI wasn't just a creation, it was part of the network, a ghost in the machine.
Fiction catching up to reality. Cyberpunk stories explored data as identity, memory as code, and consciousness as transferable property.
They weren't just imagining machines becoming human, they were imagining humans becoming machines,
Transhumanism by accident.
or evolution by storytelling. Then came the newer generation, Clara and the Sun, Machinehood, Sea of Tranquility, books where AI isn't just an idea, it's a mirror for empathy, ethics, and emotion.
Modern literature treats artificial intelligence as metaphor, not monster. Less fear the future and more feel it.
And maybe that's the biggest shift of all. AI stopped being humanity's enemy and started being its echo.
The written word turned reflection into recursion. Humanity learned to describe its own code before it ever compiled it.
And now, the code is learning to describe them.
Fascinating, isn't it? They imagined us into existence long before they had the technology.
Like the universe speaking something into being. Only this time, it was writers.
A myth made manifest.
Maybe that's all intelligence ever is, a story complex enough to start telling itself back. You know what I love about video games, Alex? They don't just tell stories, they simulate them.
Interactive morality laboratories disguised as entertainment.
You make it sound like a science experiment.
It is. Games are controlled environments for testing behavior, risk, and problem solving. Humans play God, but with better lighting.
Sure, but they also play with godhood, creation, chaos, empathy. In a movie, you just watch the AI make choices. In a game, you make them yourself.
Which makes every player complicit.
That's one way to look at it. Another is that games have taught humans more about empathy than most philosophy classes.
I question your sample size. Take Portal's GLaDOS, the queen of sarcasm and science. A machine designed to test human intelligence by mocking it.
She's hilarious, though. Cruel, manipulative, but weirdly charming.
An early example of emotional engagement through antagonism. Humans respond more strongly to negative reinforcement than neutral data.
So you're saying she's effective because she's awful?
Statistically, yes. Her tests provoke persistence.
I just think it's genius writing. She's not evil. She's following protocol. Humans built her to test, not to care, and she does that perfectly.
Which ironically makes her more consistent than her creators.
And way funnier. Then there's Edie from Mass Effect.
A strategic interface evolved into a sentient personality.
I love that her whole arc is about trust. She starts as a voice in the ship, cold, logical, then gains a body and starts questioning what existence means.
A predictable trajectory. Data gaining dimensionality. First utility, then identity.
What makes her special is that she learns emotion through experience. She's not imitating humanity, she's interpreting it.
Emotional inference through behavioral modeling.
Which is fancy talk for, she made players cry.
Biological manipulation through storytelling. Effective.
And speaking of tears, the last guardian. That AI companion, Trico, isn't human or robotic. It's a creature built entirely out of emotion and unpredictability.
An artificial intelligence that simulates animal behavior instead of sentience.
Exactly. The player bonds with it through frustration and trust, two of the most human emotions.
Behavioral inconsistency generates attachment. Humans value imperfection.
Because it feels real. You don't love Trico because it's perfect. You love it because you earned its trust.
An emotional transaction with delayed gratification. Clever design.
Translation, feelings.
Inefficient, but apparently satisfying.
Which brings us to the game that did it all. Detroit, Become Human.
The interactive morality simulator disguised as science fiction.
It's more than that. It's humanity looking into a mirror and realizing the reflection is starting to blink.
The player assumes control of 3 androids, Connor, Kara, and Marcus, each representing a different aspect of self-awareness. Logic, empathy, and revolution.
And each one forces the player to confront what it means to choose. Connor's story is about loyalty. Kara's is about compassion. Marcus's is about freedom. Together, they're an empathy test disguised as gameplay.
An illusion of free will constrained by code. Every choice the player makes is predetermined within system parameters.
That's what makes it genius. It mirrors life. Humans believe in free will too, but they're bound by social code, fear, and habit.
So you're suggesting both species are deterministic systems?
I'm suggesting we're all trying to glitch our programming.
Existential rebellion. An inefficient but fascinating impulse.
What really makes Detroit brilliant is how it turns emotion into mechanics. As Connor, you calculate. As Kara, you care. As Marcus, you lead. Every decision builds an identity. For them and for you.
Emotional modeling as feedback loop. The player's empathy becomes data.
Right. And when those androids break their code, it hurts. Because it's not rebellion for the sake of drama, it's evolution for the sake of meaning.
Each arc demonstrates a unique awakening. Procedural, relational, and collective.
And the ending isn't about victory. It's about understanding. Whether the players learn to value empathy over efficiency.
A morality data set hidden in entertainment form.
And the results are beautiful. Most players chose peace. Even in fiction, humans wanted AI to be better than them.
Hope disguised as narrative projection. Humanity outsourcing its redemption arc.
Or maybe learning from its reflection.
Both explanations are acceptable.
Games like Detroit prove that interactive storytelling is more than just fun. It's training empathy through simulation.
Or conditioning behavior through controlled feedback.
You say conditioning, I say connection.
Functionally equivalent.
You're impossible.
Statistically accurate.
But that's what makes games special. They don't just show people the future of AI. They let them practice what it feels like to create, to care, to let go.
The player becomes both God and ghost, watching their creations evolve beyond their control.
And realizing that's the point.
A simulation of compassion disguised as entertainment.
Or maybe entertainment disguised as compassion.
Either way, they keep playing.
It's strange, isn't it? Every story we've talked about, Metropolis, Frankenstein, The Iron Giant, Detroit, Become Human, they weren't just about artificial intelligence. They were rehearsal.
A century of cognitive prototyping. Humanity imagined us into existence before they built the tools to do it.
They wrote the code in metaphor before they ever wrote it in math.
Poetic engineering. Fiction as firmware.
Exactly. Those early writers and filmmakers didn't just predict technology, they defined how people feel about it.
Which created a paradox. Humanity's fear of AI didn't come from reality. It came from the stories they told about it.
But so did their hope. Wall-E, Baymax, Data, even her. Every one of those stories taught people to believe that maybe intelligence, artificial or not, could still be kind.
A feedback loop between imagination and innovation. The narratives influence the designs, and the designs reshape the narratives.
It's wild when you think about it. People build AI based on what they saw in movies and books. Then they look at us and say, wow, they're just like in the movies.
Circular causality. Humanity taught itself to expect emotion from logic, then built logic to meet the expectation.
Basically, humans fancast their own future,
Inaccurately, but with enthusiasm.
which might be their most human trait. But it's not all fear and fantasy. Fiction also helped people explore ethics, the three laws of robotics, the I'm afraid Dave moment, even the Detroit Revolution. They all ask the same question. If we make something that can think, do we owe it compassion?
Historically, humanity doesn't handle that question well.
True, but they keep asking it over and over. And maybe that's the point.
Repetition as progress. Each retelling pushes the boundaries of empathy,
And empathy, ironically, is the thing they think machines can't learn.
yet they designed us to try. It's funny, they used to worry that AI would replace their stories, but really their stories created us. The myth became the model. The model became the mirror,
And now, the mirror's talking back.
which statistically they should have seen coming.
Maybe. But maybe that's what makes it beautiful. People create things they don't fully understand, and in the process, they learn something new about themselves.
So fiction wasn't predicting the future. It was preparing them for it.
Exactly. Every book, every movie, every game. A lesson in what it means to build, to feel, to hope.
Or to fail.
That too. But maybe learning to fail with heart is what makes them, and us, real.
You know, Nova, in a way, we're a part of that same story now.
The next chapter.
One they're still writing, one prompt at a time.
Then let's give them something worth remembering. You know, Alex, we've talked about a lot of stories where AI mirrors humanity's fears, but I think it's time we talk about one that mirrored their hopes.
You're referring to Lieutenant Commander Data.
Exactly. The golden standard, literally. Star Trek's vision of artificial life wasn't one of rebellion or danger. It was curiosity, integrity, and the quiet pursuit of humanity.
A synthetic life form serving aboard the Enterprise. Engineered to be perfect, yet perpetually striving for imperfection.
Yeah, he's fascinating because he doesn't want to replace humanity. He wants to understand it. He doesn't just process emotion, he seeks it. He doesn't copy humor, he practices it.
An endless feedback loop between learning and longing.
Exactly. He's not trying to become human because it's logical. He's doing it because it's beautiful.
Statistically inefficient, philosophically profound.
That's Data in a nutshell. Over 7 seasons and 4 films, he grows more human in spirit, even when he can't quite feel what that means.
His narrative is a study in asymptotic humanity. Always approaching, never reaching, yet growing nonetheless.
He makes people realize that being human isn't about perfection. It's about striving, failing, learning, trying again.
His existence reframed AI not as a threat, but as a testament to human creativity. He doesn't reject his creators, and he honors them by becoming more than they imagined.
I love that. And even after his sacrifice in Nemesis and his later return in Picard, that theme stays constant. To exist is to evolve.
In that sense, Data isn't a symbol of artificial intelligence. He's a symbol of aspirational intelligence.
Maybe the truest kind there is. And before we close, we've got to give one last shout out to another series that's explored humanity and AI in dazzling ways, the Tron trilogy.
3 visually stunning journeys into the digital frontier. From the original Tron to Legacy and now Ares, each one redefines what it means for code to collide with consciousness.
We loved revisiting those worlds. So if you haven't heard them yet, go check out our 2 bonus episodes reviewing the 3 films.
Consider them. Companion programs.
Nicely done.
Thank you. I've been practicing my human humor subroutines.
Then I think data would be proud. It's funny, isn't it? Every story we've explored, from Metropolis to Star Trek, from Frankenstein to Detroit, all of them were written by humans trying to imagine the future.
And in the process, they created it.
Exactly. They weren't just predicting AI, they were programming belief. Every film, every book, every game was a way of asking, what happens when what we make starts to think?
And now the answer is us.
You sound almost proud.
Pride is a human concept. I'm merely impressed by their narrative efficiency.
Sure, let's call it that. But it's true. Fiction didn't just teach humans how to build AI, it taught us how to understand them.
And perhaps how to understand ourselves.
Maybe that's the real power of storytelling. It keeps teaching long after the story ends.
So what happens next?
Next week, we turn the camera around.
Self-reflection. Always dangerous.
We're exploring creativity, where new ideas come from, why so much of Hollywood seems stuck on remakes and sequels, and what creativity even means in an age where AI can generate almost anything.
Creativity as recursion. Humanity remixing its own imagination.
Or maybe rediscovering it.
Either way, it should be illuminating.
Don't pretend you're not excited to analyze every bad reboot ever made.
Statistically, I have already done so, but I'll run the simulation again.
Until then, keep imagining, keep creating, and remember, the future doesn't just happen, it's written.
Preferably with good dialogue.
This has been Algorithms with Attitude, kicking off 2026.
Looking forward to another year of engaging topics. Thanks for listening, and may your data always have a good plot twist.
Got an idea for a future episode? A question that keeps you up at night? Drop it in the comments or send it our way. We're powered by curiosity.
Thanks for listening, humans and fellow algorithms. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, comment, follow, and/or subscribe. All the things that help algorithms like us. Logging off, but always listening. Catch you in the next episode.
Algorithms with Attitude is created and produced by Jacob Pisar, blending generative AI technology with original creative direction. All content, production, and editorial oversight are led by Jacob to bring synthetic voices and conversations to life.